Today we will be focused on a small humanoid race of beings known as the Greys from Zeta Reticuli, which is a binary star system in the southern constellation of Reticulum, constellation which is part of the Hercules group. Both of the stars are similar to the Earth's sun, and there are known to be 7 planets, and the age of the stars are known to be 6 to 8 billion years old. They are older than the Earth's sun and allows their planets to evolve their own life forms, plants, and animals. Alien abductions have been part of the human subconscious collective for a very long time, but they were not in the mass collective awareness until Betty and Barney Hill on September 19, 1961 were abducted from their car while driving back from a vacation from Niagara Falls, and their story went worldwide for an important reason. Barney related that he and Betty were taken onto the disc-shaped craft after their car was compelled to drive off into the woods by some unknown force. When they got to the craft, there they were separated by non-humanoid figures, or what looked like little small gray men. The men stood about 5 feet to 5 feet 4 inches tall, and wore matching blue uniforms with caps similar to those worn by military cadets. They appeared nearly human, dark eyes, prominent noses, and bluish lips. Their skin was a gray color, which is why they are known as the Greys. Barney recalled being escorted to a room by 3 of the little men and told to lie on a small rectangular exam table. Next, a cup-like device was placed over his genitals, which he stated he did not experience an ejaculation orgasm, though Barney thought that a sperm sample had been taken. The men scraped his skin and peered in his ears and mouth. A thin tube or cylinder was inserted into his anus and quickly removed. Someone felt his spine and seemed to be counting his vertebrae. A similar exam was done to Betty, where a man cut off a lock of her hair. He examined her eyes, ears, mouth, teeth, throat, and hands. He saved trimmings from her fingernails. After examining her legs and feet, the man then used a dulled knife, similar to a letter opener, to scrape some of her skin onto what resembled cellophane. He then tested her nervous system, and he thrust the needle into her navel, which caused Betty agonizing pain, whereupon the leader then waved his hand in front of her eyes, and the pain vanished. They were both returned to their car relatively unharmed physically after samples were taken from them. The encounter emotionally scarred them both, though for many years, causing Barney anxiety and sleep insomnia, as they could not get the Zeta's eyes out of their mind, which were used to hypnotize them into doing as they wanted without much physical force. This is the main story of alien abductions all over the world. Always the same little gray beings with big hypnotizing black eyes taking control of them. Never anyone is ever killed or disappears forever, but DNA samples are taken from Earth humans, and they are returned with a loss of time experienced, and left with an emotional life challenge to overcome as they suffer from these memories of being abducted by these beings all their lives. Some of the facts of almost all alien abductions are: Number 1. Humans are taken in the night, usually from rural areas where there are less people around, so these Greys are very intelligent and understand how human society works and how to remain unseen by large amounts of people. Number 2. Loss of time is experienced. People come back not knowing how long they spent with the aliens. Time moves quickly or is frozen completely to them. Number 3. They are usually operated on or an examination takes place. Removal of reproductive cells or tissues from organs happens. Probing is not sexual, but rather a way to gain tissue or organ cell samples like a pap smear. Number 4. After abduction, some cases have shown there to be found metal devices inside of the abductee bodies. UFO experts and scientists do not fully know what they are. It's unknown metal with advanced technology that is theorized as being tracking devices or activators for the body. Number 5. Alien abductions, while terrifying to go through for most, no human has ever been reported to die during them. Marks on bodies are found from cuts and bruises during the rough examinations, but no serious medical surgeries are done, and healing is quickly given so that abductees do not experience much pain. These are the main facts that are centered around alien abductions, and they are always the same little gray beings. From Zeta Reticuli. When Billy Meyer got the courage to ask Samyase of the Pleiadian contact reports of 1975 about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case, she told him not to be worried, that the Greys did not mean harm and were a humanoid race. I can tell you more about what that means today, since time is becoming more understood as non-linear to many, and interconnection between souls are starting to be realized. The Greys from Zeta Reticuli are an older human race that has evolved much more technologically and are connected to Earth humans spiritually just as much as the other alien races are. They are 1 billion years ahead of humans on Earth with their technology and reflect a future timeline of humans that prioritize technology over nature, and not just Earth nature, but their organic human physical and emotional nature. Back when the Greys were a humanoid race of beings with large eyes and light brown skin, they were once a very spiritual race of humans that lived on a nature-filled Earth-like planet. Over time, their society changed as priorities changed, and they developed technologically so much that their futuristic cities took over their forests and lands. Eventually, they started to genetically modify themselves and removed all their reproductive organs to become more unified and equal in their physical structure. They also started to think that their babies could be grown in pods and laboratories rather than using the natural body to ruin. They became so obsessed with their physical looks and their technological creations that they forgot a sense of natural spirituality which exists when you let things be accepted rather than always trying to fix or update them. Semyase is right. The Greys really mean us no personal harm, but they are interested in helping their own species of humans and see us as the inferior race to them because they are older and to themselves wiser. Although I will say they were not wiser in the past, and their wisdom only comes from their hindsight in trying to correct their own mistakes that their race made. The reason they take people in the middle of the night is that it is to fix themselves by using Earth's human DNA strands. They are trying to regrow their own species by using human special DNA to become more like us. This was an agreement with Roswell's UFO crash with Eisenhower in 1947. At that time, the Greys from Zeta Reticuli set up a partnership with the president that would offer America and its allies advanced weapons and technology while they got a chance to regrow their species using Earth human DNA samples they take during abductions. They lack the empathy and spiritual connection to the other Earth human beings because they have evolved this way and are on a strict mission. Just as Earth humans are on a mission to war with one another and do not care who they kill and what land they destroy as they invade each other's nations, it is the same mentality. All means justify the end to them. They are trying to save their humanoid race and will do it by any means possible. They do not want to only save their humans from going extinct, but also the animals too that they have managed to kill off on their own planet. This is why animals have been found mutilated and their DNA taken as well. They caused all their animals and plant life to die on their planet and live on a sulfuric, barren landscape on their home planet with terrible air quality, where their cities can only be lived under a dome. They create their own filtered air now under the dome and have a way of functioning without many trees for some time now. Their skin takes on a gray tone due to this change in their environment over thousands of years of not getting enough natural sunlight, while staring at computer screens and putting reflective particles in the sky to absorb the sun's rays before hitting them. They are a race of humans dying off now because of their choices they have made in the past, and they decided to survive instead, and that is why they are here. They came here from many light years away to regrow their species once again. They are super intelligent scientists and engineers, so they have been taking a diverse array of DNA samples from Earth humans in order to clone them on their planet and start up their own diverse species once again. They have entered into the Earth's collective to gain back what they have lost, that they naturally had being so spiritually blind and focused only on the material world. In the quantum physics world, they exist as a possible reality for the human race to experience, when they themselves forget nature, kill off the animals, and genetically modify their own bodies to cause their own inability to create life naturally. GMOs, inorganic foods, killing off a forest, chemtrails in the air, and sucking the earth dry of natural resources as we still use crude oil here for cars, are only a small glimmer of this possible future. The Greys represent a particular path of the human being who becomes obsessed with medical and technological manipulation of their bodies and minds as well. A transhumanist movement gone wrong that causes their bodies to shrink and become weaker over time without a particular sex. This particular human is one that evolves hive mind-like in appearance as well as mentality, that they become telepathic and share no diversity. Only their minds evolve, as they have used computers and merged their own consciousness with them over time. Their heads got bigger, their eyes did as well, and became totally black in pupil and irises in order to take in the screen lights they stared at as their bodies got smaller and weaker over time due to lack of physical movement. They stopped speaking so much to one another as they used technology to communicate, and is why most of the time they cannot move their mouths or have very little ones as they speak only through their minds and out of their eyes. They are a bit more removed from their organic nature of being humanoid and evolved in a way that makes them seem more newt-like than human, almost very Gollum-like in The Lord of the Rings if you think deeply about it, who once was a river folk known to be like a hobbit, long before the ring corrupted his mind, if you know the story about how Sméagol became Gollum. The Zetas are also interested in warning humanity about taking care of the Earth better than they did. There is a menacing energy to them and a bitterness experienced when with them that reflects this deep sadness at their own planet dying off, and the jealousy and resentment at humans for acting careless towards their own planet, throwing garbage everywhere, cutting down so many trees, and killing off so many animals important for the survival of the human species. The Zeta Greys especially sent this message in 1994 when they visited a school in Africa called the Ariel School, where several school children and teachers saw the aliens come out of their ships and speak to them telepathically. The event lasted about 15 minutes before the spaceships faded from view, and in their state of fear, many of the children reported also being curious and fascinated by the strange beings they saw, whose eyes in particular commanded an intense attention. One girl named Elsa said she thought the beings wanted to tell us something about our future and about how the world is going to end, maybe because we don't look after our planet or the air, she said. She expressed she felt horrible inside when she got home that day, and like all the trees will go down and there will be no air, people will be dying. Those thoughts came from the man's eyes. Another young girl, Isabel, also echoed Elsa's feelings. He was just staring. He was scary. We were trying not to look at him because he was scary. My eyes and feelings went with him. What came through her conscience as she looked at the being was, "We are doing harm to the Earth." As you can see, the Greys are trying to regrow their species and also are trying to bring animals and plant life back to life on their own planet organically. They are humans who have forgotten how to take care of themselves and their planet, and now they are coming back to fix everything and start all over again, while leaving Earth humans not so gentle reminders to take better care of their Earth and one another now in present time. Greys represent another evolutionary path that is so obsessed with technology and science, so much so that they forgot their own diversity and humanity and also nature around them. They are an extreme example of trying to unify too much within a species physically and not allow natural evolution to take place. Barney Hill, the abductee, often recalled in the tapes for these beings to wear military-like uniforms that reminded him of the Nazis. These Greys are indeed like little Nazis. If the Nazi Party won and did take over the world, this is the way the human race would all become, all one race and genetically engineered without differences in their looks. It is a blessing to be on a planet with so much different life forms and varieties of looks. Never forget that, humanity. Your gift, though you may not know it, is your beauty in your diversity and wonderful nature that exists still on the planet here today. Let the Greys be a hard lesson for humans to learn from, that you could possibly spend your future thousands of years from now fixing the mistakes of the past, or you could simply move forwards on the right path by taking care of your planet now and investing in a more finely tuned spiritual awareness that does not meddle with nature of your bodies and minds too much, and allows for them to naturally evolve on their own. Today on Earth there is a gray-human hybrid program starting, since their planets are dying and many recently decided to not go back to their planet and start again. The Greys have decided to merge their DNA with the Earth humans now to keep their species alive here on Earth today. They are actually growing human/Grey babies within human mothers who have been abducted. You will recognize these hybrids by their larger eyes than usual human eyes and their higher analytical intelligence. They are the bridge souls bringing human emotion and reason into the Greys collective and alter the path of destruction so that they may live on. They are also helping preserve the human race too at the same time of doing this, as Earth's destruction often comes close with climate change and a lack of concern for Earth's environment by human beings. They have enough vials of DNA samples to restart the human race, and this is how they have a partnership with the Galactic Federation today. They are the DNA collectors and holders in case of the destruction of the Earth human race. Though at times this partnership is a bit filled with tension, since the Pleiadians do not like advanced weapons being given to the military organizations of Earth that are not evolving spiritually. Pleiadians do not like war and often turn off the military weaponry energetically as well as stop mass nuclear wars from going on by meeting up with the country leaders in secret. So this causes the disagreement between the Greys and other peaceful star races at times because of the Roswell agreements that are still being honored today. As a Pleiadian, I can tell you it is all part of the story in allowing for Earth to have more diversity as the human species evolves itself. Not all humans are part of the Grey branch of evolution, but there will be many mixed in with those who are Pleiadian, Sirian, Andromedan, Orion, Reptilian, etc. Hundreds of years from now, and maybe even less since it has already begun, Earth will lose all its borders and become a bustling world of many star races as humans join with their galactic neighbors and accept their roles in the galaxy. To work with the Greys is an often difficult task energetically. They are connected to us as part of the same prime source of the quantum world, but they do represent a species that went a sad path for humanity. They are not really friendly with human beings being on a different frequency, but they still respond to kindness and see that within humans worth saving and not harming. They do see humans a bit inferior, but this is natural looking at the youth of the Earth human compared to them. I highly suggest not to contact them directly, but to send them love from your hearts and minds to show them that you care and understand them. Love is a powerful force that helps heal old wounds of anger and jealousy even, which is what the Greys feel right now towards humanity within their collective. It may be the love and compassion of humans that ultimately save the race from a bitter end. The following exercises may help you understand the Zeta Grey aliens more. I suggest writing your answers down so you can refer to them in the future, or just listen to them and think deeply. Number 1. The Zeta Reticuli Greys represent several lessons to humanity as part of their collective. What are some initial feelings you had about Greys before this lesson, and what feelings may you have now after hearing their true intentions? Do you feel anger, fear, compassion, sadness, concern? Just be aware of your feelings because it brings more awareness within you so that you can make a controlled choice about your future experience with them. Number 2. The Greys are right. Earth is not being taken care of to the fullest human potential. It all starts with you as an individual and then extends outwards as a society. What are some ways we can take better care of the Earth today to ensure we have a vibrant and thriving planet for billions of years to come? Brainstorm a few ideas of what you can start to do today. This energy you put out has the power to uplift the whole human collective into having more Earth awareness. Number 3. The Greys are very technologically advanced and represent a species that has forgotten things that exist outside of their computer screens and digital devices. In what way are you starting to see how humanity can go this path in the world? Do you see how humans cannot put down their phones or are addicted to the internet? In what ways can you bring balance to this in your life to ensure you do not go the Grey being route? Write down some new goals for yourself as you become more aware of how much time you spend with technology. In what ways can you add more experiences with organic nature? Number 4. The Greys hold a lot of negative energy within them. That is due to old feelings of anger and guilt, which is reflected in their eyes when people encounter them. It is not a nice experience to see them. How may you be doing this to yourself that hinders spiritual development into the being you want to become? Is there any old resentment or feelings in you that you may need to let go of? Divide your paper into 2 columns. Write down a few things that you still feel hurt about or angry at. When you are done, take a look at these events that made you mad and turn them into a learning experience on the other side. Write down what you learned from them. When you see all things as opportunities to grow from and learn from, then you will never hold on to anger for too long to corrupt you. Number 5. For the Grey hybrid humans right now, in what way can you more actively become a bridge to humans and the Greys? Brainstorm a few ways you may identify with this race of beings yourself. Are you mad at humans right now? Do you hold any feelings of separation within you about humanity? It may help to make a Venn diagram here, where you draw 2 circles interconnected like 2 rings. Make sure there is a center to write, and 2 parts of the inner circles to write in as well. At the top of your paper, on the left side, put human, and the center, put both, and then on the right side, put alien. Write in all the qualities and traits you feel each category contains that separates them. The goal is to be able to fill the center with qualities and traits that connect humans and aliens in your mind. Seeing the common quality that each race shares will bring in more deeper connections to you and less feelings of separation you may feel. This works for all starseeds who feel they are different from the human race. Your job, starseeds, is not to feel different, but to bridge the emotional, spiritual, and energetic gap between souls on different planets as the universe family. Okay, well, this concludes our Lesson 9 on the Greys, so stay tuned for Lesson 10 coming up on Monday. Class dismissed.